I think there's a click there straight away. There's an instant attraction to her. So I think that's why I asked her out. And I was expecting she to say no, because it's very sudden and it's out of the blue. And also I think if I've done something like that in Australia, the girls will be saying, oh, no, thank you very much. And it's just, too quick and too, you know what I mean.
Last week on Love Knows No Bounds, we met 3 cross-cultural families. 3 families who have all found love across the ethnic divide. Jason and Marcela, who met in Prague but now live in Melbourne with their 2 children, have encountered all the challenges common to cross-cultural relationships. They now believe that the time is right for a few home truths to emerge.
I mean, I saw him floating around and I was certainly thinking, oh, he's something interesting, and I was kind of nervous inside because I saw that he's got a microphone in or something.
I was doing an interview for the BBC and I travelled to Prague, and I was thinking, well, I maybe want to do something about the young people in Czech, how they think about things after the collapse of communism. So I went to a nightclub. The name of the nightclub is Roxy, right?
Roxy, that's right.
Yeah, we revisit that nightclub.
He came over and there was something in the air for sure. At the time I didn't really speak any English. It was really very broken English, wasn't it?
But actually when you're in love with somebody, you don't need language very much.
As couples throughout history have found, there's nothing like love to help dissolve the differences and bring people together. But sometimes, as Alex discovered when he met Ting, love is full of surprises.
I hadn't really thought about who I'd end up with. For me it doesn't really matter, so long as they're nice, as long as you get on well.
I don't think I ever had a clear definition in my head. I'm going to grow up and marry someone who's Chinese or someone who's not Chinese.
I think I'd always had a picture of a blonde, tall blonde, and certainly you're not going to find many of those in China.
Well, as I was growing up, I always dreamed that I'd actually marry somebody with dark hair. So it came as no real surprise to me when I actually ended up marrying an Asian lady. I've always found Asian women to be very attractive and people that really look after themselves a great deal. So no real surprise at marrying an Asian at all.
Very much. I never thought I would end up marrying a Western man. So I always think that I'm very much into Chinese culture. So I have always been thinking that I'll marry a Chinese man, where we can share our cultures. So meeting Yan is a surprise, but I think it's a faith. Yeah. So when things happens, it just happened. When you met the right man, and every other things is not important.
But I always knew that if I found someone who was Chinese, that it would be easier for them to communicate with my parents, and it'll be easier culturally for them to, understand each other, and I guess to understand and accept any of our Chinese customs.
Eve Ash is a psychologist and relationship counsellor based in South Melbourne. Over the course of her more than 20-year career, she has learned that all loving relationships face the same gritty issues associated with the day-to-day business of just getting along.
There's my blog today.
Oh, perfect.
People problems. The power of love can take you a long way. but the seed of doubt can create a big rift. So when that little doubt or that little problem arises, if it's not dealt with, it is the start of a deterioration in a relationship, no matter how loving people are. As relationships go on, the shine often goes because people start to see things that annoy them, and whether you're from a similar culture or you're from very different cultures, the things that annoy, the little habits, can actually become bigger, and there can be quite a split between people starting to do their own thing in their own lives, whereas maybe initially they shared a lot of a romantic burst of doing things together. When there are cultural differences and even language barriers, that can put additional pressure on the couple if they haven't actually done anything proactive about it. So when people have differences, it's really important to recognise those differences up front and be able to say, well, these are the things in my culture, these are the things in your culture. Let's share that, let's get to know about it, let's look at what's going to cause a friction and actually go there proactively rather than falling into a negative spiral.
It isn't really until you meet other people or watch movies and see what other people do that you realise what the differences are between your values and other people's values.
After the break, what happens when cultural expectations gatecrash the bedroom?